Hello to people watching this video today. I want to talk about something that I've recently done, and that was beating Overcooked 2, as the title of this video implies. This game has left a lot of thoughts in my mind, and I felt like sharing them because YouTube. So, before anything else, what is Overcooked? Well, in the best way I can put it, it's a fast-paced multiplayer cooking game which requires strategy, cooperation, and a lot of skill. The main plot is that the Onion King, who's a lovable dork, is king of the Onion Kingdom, obviously, who accidentally summons a bunch of unbred zombies, see the pun there, and now the players, or the chefs, of the Onion King has to learn different kinds of foods to satisfy the unbred for them to die again. This can be played up to 4 people, but I played it with 3, because friends that play other games in Minecraft are hard to come by, in my opinion. Okay. So, let's get into why I love the game so much. So, I think the main reason is that the game is really hard. Now, for me, Minecraft hasn't really been as difficult as it used to be when I first started, which kind of ruins some of the skill for me, in my opinion. Not to trash on any of the friends that I play Minecraft with, but it's just how I feel about the game as of now. I feel like that I've been enjoying the game less and less because of this. And because I was so new to Overcooked, my friends actually had to teach me how to play it, and it was very difficult. It was very fun to learn, and once I actually did become good enough, I would say, to beat the levels, it felt very good to be able to, beat the levels. And it was just a fun time. Now, that there was a lot of swearing involved because Overcooked, but the game was really difficult, sometimes to the point where we would spend hours and hours and hours in just one level. But I feel like if I had to give my personal opinion, the hardest level in the entire game was quite easily. I don't remember what level exactly, but it's a level where you're on a pit with a bunch of joysticks and you have to make tortillas or burritos. So what happens is that one person controls a joystick to move it around, and it's a very small platform. But apart from that, the levels are very consistently difficult. I remember 5-6 or 5-5, I don't remember which one. That it was an acid level that made us trip so hard. Like, the amount of trips we had was insane. And I remember on one of the levels, we literally had to take a break to go eat food before we could actually finish the level, because you can't really play this game all at once without getting extremely frustrated with it. And I just feel like but here's that. So there was a lot of sweating involved. The game was really difficult. At a low estimate, you would swear once every 10 seconds, which I'm not that proud of, but this game was difficult. This is definitely the type of game I would recommend for like a family get-together, or if you're out of friends for a sleepover, which was my situation. And I just really thought the game was fun. The thing I liked in Spanish, the themes. Oh yes, the themes. All the different themes were so unique. It was just, it was amazing how many themes they were. I have to say, I think my favorite theme was the hot air balloon, where you got to cook on a hot air balloon and serve people who would also on hot air balloons. It was very fun. I thought it was a very fun experience because I just really like hot air balloons. This is gonna become me ranting about the themes, isn't it? Then we have the minecart theme, which I didn't really like that much, to be honest, especially with all the conveyor belts. Which I would probably say, I didn't really like the space levels either. Like the acid levels, I don't really like those. But what I did like, I really loved the swamp levels. I think the levels in World 4, the swamp levels in World 4 were very, very interesting. I also really like the sushi levels and the Castlevania-esque levels. I thought they were very, very cool, and all the magic elements with all the stuff rotating around. It was very fun to begin with. Now, if I had to mention one gripe with the game, I'll mention that later, but I feel like the timers were very constricting. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. And like the music for the different teams was very cool. Like, oh boy, the music was good. Like, holy crap, the music was good. Like, oh boy, it was like some of the best I've seen all year. Like, oh my god, it was so good. It was like, oh, it was so good. Where do I even begin with the music? Okay, so first of all, the music becomes so much more intense than like the less time you have at level. So like at the level you have less and less time to beat the level. As you get into 1 minute, the music ramps up in intensity so much. Like it's like dun dun dun, and you can hear the timer ticking, and it really has the tension about it. And you can see from my voice, I'm still having flashbacks about one fucking level. Oh my god, why? But like, I thought this was really cool idea. It was just so well done. It was just, oh my god. It was the theme, they had different theme music as well. They did share the vampire Castlevania or Metroidvania. The Metroidvania-esque levels were so cool. The music was so nice. I also really liked there was just like a really epic feel to some of the things. Like on the hot air balloon levels with the World 3 levels. World 3 was called Metroidvania. I mean some of the World 2 levels or World 4. I don't remember which one. But the minecart levels, they were really. The music was really empowering. I'll play some of the music now. The music was really good. Now, unfortunately, I did not think to record us playing the game because I really did not expect myself to have such a fun time with Overcooked as I had. But it was a really fun game, and like it was just so good. The only thing is that like because the music was shared the same over. And some things I feel like it could have been done better, but the music was still so good. It was just, it was so good. It was very good. And I just really love the music. So, as I mentioned earlier, the timers were a bit frustrating because there are so many times in the game where I feel like I can't really do anything because of the timers. Because the timers cook food way too slow, which I feel like could be intentional, as just waiting there makes me more nervous, which makes me more likely to slip up, which makes me more likely to make mistakes, which, ends up more playtime, which means you like the game more and more. I still really love the timer aspect, and I just thought it was very cool. Also, the washing dishes element after you use it became really annoying because unless you always had a person that was constantly on dishes, like cleaning them the second they show up, not having plates in this game is like the definition of death. Like, if you do not have a plate, you lose the game. At any given moment, if you do not have a plate when you have food ready, chances are you're gonna lose that order and lose a bunch of points, and then that ruins your tip streak, which really makes the level so much harder. And I'll just before that, I also want to mention a lot of the footage here is taken from videos recorded from Stumpt, which is why you can see faces at the bottom. Because, as I said, I unfortunately did not think to record the video, so I'll link a channel. I'll link an Overcooked playlist. I'll link their Overcooked 2 playlist in the description. Because chances are I'm going to include a lot of different videos, and it's just easy to remove the playlist. It's also so I don't get copyright stricken. Yeah. Apart from that one thing that I don't really like about the game, I think the game is great. However, there is an unofficial official requirement that requires you to have friends. Because this game by itself is not the best to say, because we actually tried experimenting with one of the levels, because I was stuck on one side while the other two friends were on the other. But my side needed 2 people, but their side only needed 1. So we tried experimenting. If there was only 1 person, would the map change and would it become easier, etc., etc. But what happens is you actually end up getting 2 chefs. Which you have to switch through. So I do think this game is way better if you have like a friend to play with, because it requires easier communication. Another thing I forgot to mention is I just really like how much strategy you have to go through, and there's always a guy who's making the plans. There's always going to be at least 1 person controlling the flow of information. You always have to be concentrating on different things, and every level except for the 1-6, 2-1, 4-1, 3-1, like the introductory levels, you will always have to enter the level, and you can't. There is not a level in the late game that you can ever one attempt 3-star unless you're stumped, because stumped. But like, if you're just a casual player, you have to retry the level so many times to get a feel for how it works, how to get through it, and it just really makes and it's just really fun because it's just really fun because so many different strategies. You have to think so much, and it was just really exciting. There's so much stuff happening at once. You have to keep in track. Does the timer start right away? You always have to keep stuff like that intact because oh boy, this is gonna come in a lot. Another thing that I really like about the game is that a factor of feeling that as I mentioned earlier with the timers, it does feel like you're out of control. But every other mistake in Overcooked, it feels like it's your fault. There was one time in which we were one thing away from getting the final, from beating the game. But what ended up happening was that I accidentally threw the order in the trash instead of serving it. Because if you don't know, you have stars and you need at least 1 star to beat the level, and you need points to get the star, and you serve orders to get the points. Probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. What can you do? So yeah, so mistakes like that, it always feels like your fault, and I just really think that's like a really big strength of the game, except for the timers, but I mentioned that already. So yeah, those were my thoughts on Overcooked. I just really enjoyed the game. I think it's a great game for anybody looking for a fun party game at a birthday party. I definitely plan on buying it for myself, as I only played it at the